In today's class, we are going to discuss the process of megasporogenesis, or otherwise called as the development of female gametophyte. Now let us understand the definition of megasporogenesis first. It is the process of development of haploid megaspore from a diploid megaspore mother cell through meiosis is called as megasporogenesis. To understand the process of megasporogenesis, let us understand the structure of the ovule. As we all know, the ovule has got two important parts. One is the main body, another one is a stalk to which it is attached to the ovary. Now the ovule has got two ends, chalazal end and the micropylar end, and which is surrounded by two wall layer integument, and the central mass of cells, parenchymatous meristematic cells, are called as nucellus. To understand megasporogenesis, it is enough for us to understand the main body of the ovule. Let us not consider all the other accessory parts of the ovule. Now, here you are able to see a mass of parenchymatous cells called as nucellus. Now, during the development of megasporogenesis, one of the nucellar tissue will increase in its size with dense cytoplasm and prominent nucleus. You call this as an archosporial cell. In most of the plants, the archosporial cell itself will act as a megaspore mother cell, or sometimes in some other plants, this archosporial cell will further divide into primary parietal cell and inner sporogenous cell. To understand this, I am drawing only the main part of the ovule. Now this is the ovule, and this ovule has got this nucellar tissue. Now during its development, some of the what I am drawing now is the epidermal layer of the nucellus. The cells which I am drawing down, these cells are called as hypodermal cells. As I told you, during the development, one of the cells will increase in its size, and you call this cell that is towards the chalazal end. Always you have to remember that you have to mark the two poles of the ovule. One is the chalazal end, another one is the micropylar end. Now towards the chalazal end, one of the nucellar cells will increase in its size, so you call this as an archosporial cell. Now in most of the cells, as I told you, the archosporial cell itself will behave as a megaspore mother cell, but in some of the plants, this archosporial cell will further undergo division to form this cell is called as primary parietal cell, and afterwards towards the inner side, few cells, you call this as sporogenous cells. So this one is called as primary parietal cell, PPC, and this one towards the inner, that is towards the micropylar end, you call it as sporogenous cell. Now this primary parietal cell which is formed after this archosporial cell may undergo division, or it may not undergo division. But the sporogenous cells will definitely, so all the cells, these two cells which are towards the micropylar end are called as sporogenous cells. This will undergo division to form megaspore mother cell. So this sporogenous cell will undergo further division and it will form a cell, and now this cell is called as megaspore mother cell. You call it as MMC. Now for our understanding, let us take only one cell. I am taking this megaspore mother cell here. So let us take only one megaspore mother cell. Now this megaspore mother cell will now undergo meiotic division. Now it will undergo meiosis. It will undergo one meiotic division. One meiotic division to form 4 haploid megaspore. Now this is the megaspore mother cell, which is diploid in nature. This megaspore mother cell on meiosis will give rise to 4 haploid megaspore. All the cells are haploid, so I am writing N, and all these 4 cells will be arranged one after the other to form a linear structure. So we can call this as megaspore linear tetrad. So this is called as megaspore tetrad, or we can write megaspore linear tetrad. While studying microsporogenesis, we saw once this microspore mother cell, if it's undergo meiosis, it gives rise to microspore tetrad. We saw 5 possibility, that is tetrahedral tetrad, isobilateral tetrad, T-shaped, linear and decussate. But in megasporogenesis, all the haploid megaspore will be arranged only in a linear form, so it is called as linear megaspore tetrad. Now, out of the 4 megaspore formed as a result of meiosis, the first 3 haploid megaspore will get degenerated. It will get destroyed, and only one will remain functional. So we can draw like this. So all these cells which are disintegrated, I am drawing like this, and only one is called as the functional megaspore. So 3 will remain degenerated, that is towards the chalazal end. These 3 cells will get degenerated, and only one megaspore towards the micropylar end will remain functional. So this is called as functional megaspore. Now this functional megaspore, I am drawing it once again. 3 has already disintegrated. Only one functional megaspore. This is the functional megaspore. This functional megaspore will undergo mitotic division. How many mitotic division? It will undergo 3 mitotic division. Here one thing you have to understand, as we know, mitosis is otherwise called as equational division. That means one cell will divide into 2, and moreover the nucleus of that cell also will divide into 2. But here only karyokinesis will be followed and not cytokinesis. Cytokinesis will be followed little later. In the beginning, only karyokinesis, that is division of nucleus alone, will take place. But how many mitotic division? This point is very important. This functional megaspore will undergo 3 mitotic division. Let us see. Now, if it undergoes the first mitotic division, this is the first mitotic division, and this one nuclei, as I told you, only karyokinesis will be followed and not cytokinesis. This one nucleus will divide into 2 nuclei. It's very important in the functional megaspore also, we have to mark this is the chalazal end and this is the micropylar end. So this is the chalazal end and this is the micropylar end. After the first mitotic division, this nuclei, one nuclei is divided into 2 nuclei. Now this cell will undergo second mitotic division. Second mitotic division. As a result of second mitotic division, 4 cells will be formed in each pole. 2 in the chalazal end and 2 in the micropylar end. Till now, only karyokinesis is taking place and not the wall formation, or cytokinesis is not taking place. Now, this cell will undergo again the third mitotic division. Now here, 1, 2, 3, 4 in this pole, 1, 2, 3, 4 in this pole. Now at the end of this third mitotic division, in each pole, that is one in the chalazal end and another in the micropylar end, we are able to see 4 nuclei. 4 in the chalazal end and 4 in the micropylar end. Now after these 4 nuclei that is formed in each pole, one of the nuclei from the chalazal end and one of the nuclei from the micropylar end will migrate towards the center. Now you will be able to see 3 cells will be towards the chalazal end three nuclei will be there in the chalazion end, 3 nuclei will be there in the micropylar end, and this nuclei and this nuclei will come towards the center. Now, karyokinesis is completed, that is division of nucleus is completed. Now, cytokinesis will be followed. Now, each nuclei will be surrounded by a wall layer. Now, in this chalazion end, each nuclei is surrounded by one wall, and the middle also one wall will be formed, and towards the micropylar end, one wall and one more cell and one more. Now, if you count the number of the cell and the number of the nuclei, we will be able to understand that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 cell, so we can write it here, 7 celled, and when you count the nuclei, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 nuclei. 8 nucleated. So 7 celled and 8 nucleated embryo sac is formed. This is the structure of the typical embryo sac which we are studying. Now let us mark the parts. Now the cells which is towards the chalazion end is called as antipodal cells. This is called as antipodal cells, and towards the center it is called as polar nuclei. Polar nuclei, or we can otherwise call it as secondary nucleus, and towards the micropylar end the bigger one is called as the egg, which is the female gamete, and on the either side of the egg these two cells are called as synergids. Now together this egg and synergids is called as egg apparatus. Now this is the typical angiospermic female gametophyte, which is 7 cell and 8 nucleated. Now one more thing we have to understand, this is also called as polygonum type. Because it was first found out by a scientist Strasburger in the polygonum plant. So it is otherwise called as polygonum type. And one more important point that we have to understand here, this embryo sac is called as monosporic development. This is monosporic development of embryo sac. Now, what is the meaning for monosporic development of embryo sac? We saw in the beginning when one megaspore mother cell diploid megaspore mother cell after undergoing meiosis, it produced 4 megaspore haploid, that is linear tetrad. All are haploid cells, megaspore tetrad. Out of the 4 megaspore linear megaspore form, 3 gets disintegrated and only 1 remains functional. So from this one functional megaspore, this embryo sac is developed. So that is why it is called as monosporic development. If only one functional megaspore participate in the formation of the female gametophyte, then it is called as a monosporic development. Now, in certain plants like in Allium, belonging to Liliaceae family, out of the 4 megaspore form, 2 megaspore will remain functional, only 2 will get disintegrated. And if the 2 functional megaspore are involved in the formation of the megaspore, we can call it as bisporic development. Example is Allium. In Peperomia, in one plant, it is called as tetrasporic development. Tetrasporic development meaning, now after undergoing my megaspore mother cell on my meiosis, 4 megaspore is formed. When all the 4 megaspore are involved in the formation of the embryo sac, then it is called as tetrasporic development. Now what? The most common type is polygonum type, monosporic development. 7 celled and 8 nucleated is the most common type. What we have studied now is also monosporic development, which is also very common type. Now, this is the typical embryo sac in the angiosperm. Thank you.